Hi, welcome back everybody, it's Mike Newton down here at Lytham Golf Academy. I've got a new product to review for you and it's the Mizuno JPX919 Pro iron and the hot metal. So we know hot metal iron was one of the more forgiving of the JPX919 range. They've now introduced a Pro version which is a bit more compact, thinner top line, a little bit less offset. So we're going to test that in this video, give you some numbers through GC Quad and obviously my personal feedback of this iron and maybe the particular golf this iron is going to try and hit. Okay, so JPX919 Hot Metal Pro. So Mizuno, I think, without double checking, have got about 7 different iron models in their lineup now. So they've got a lot of options. And obviously the Pro has just come into that equation now. So there's now 4 offerings in the JPX range. So we've obviously got the Tour, which is the very slim one. Very little offset, a bit more of a player's iron, and then you're into the forged, bit of that cavity in there, but with that forged head. And then we've always had that hot metal, which was the chunky one, the more game improvement iron, non-forged, loads of technology, all about ball speed, distance, but ultimate forgiveness. And now they've introduced this Pro version in the hot metal, so we're still getting all that forgiveness levels that we see in the original hot metal, but now they've just made some little tweaks to the head to give a slightly different appearance behind the golf ball, which generally a slightly better player may sort of prefer. So I think this is quite a nice addition to the range. It's now a little bit less offset, so when you put that down, it's more of maybe an offset that you'd probably see in the forged head. And the top line is a fraction thinner now. It's literally thinner by 0.6 of a millimetre, so it's very difficult to see. It's still fairly chunky, but it is slimmer in relation to that hot metal. And it's a slightly slimmer on the sole as well, but it's not slim by any means in comparison to like the Tour version. So we've still got that forgiveness, that technology in terms of that ball speed. The lofts are exactly the same as you would see in the hot metal, but we've just got that less offset and that little bit more compact sort of feel around the look of the head. So we're going to get one hit first. Yeah, it's a nice strike. Lovely high ball flight that you tend to sort of see with these game improvement irons. And that's hit the target quite nicely there. Quite a sort of clicky feel as you'd expect. It's not a forged head, so we don't expect that ultra soft feel, which sometimes we very much associate with Mizuno irons in their forged offerings. But again, it's probably that golfer who probably doesn't want that or doesn't need or maybe even feel that difference of that forged soft sort of feel. So that one there pitched at 177 on the carry number. Now this is a 7-iron I'm hitting, which is lofted at 30 degrees of loft. All the lofts are then stamped on the bottom of the irons through the Mizuno range, so you know exactly what loft that is. And I say this is exactly the same as you get in the standard hot metal, so there's no weakening of the loft. Sometimes when you go into a Pro head, they sometimes weaken the lofts a little bit, but these are exactly the same. So you should expect very similar performance really in terms of what we saw in the hot metal. I've just pulled that one a little bit there, but again, it's a good strike. It's a very high ball flight. Yeah, I missed that one, left the green. That's more me. Bad swing from me there. Okay, that's a better one. Yeah, and again, that's hit the green fairly sort of consistent on that last one there. Again, 177. I don't really feel like I've absolutely flushed one yet, to be honest. I'm going to try and really feel like I can get one out in the middle of the golf club. I just feel like I've not quite flushed it. That's a better strike. That felt lovely. Lovely ball flight. Just slightly pulled. Yeah, just missed that green slightly on that left-hand side there. Just pulled that a fraction. Strike was much cleaner there, 182 on that carry number. So I think what probably could be a really good option with these, and I think a lot of golfers will probably do this, is start to blend these maybe with the original hot metals. So for instance, you could go in those sort of longer irons, maybe that 4 iron, 5 iron, 6 iron, maybe even 7 iron in the hot metal head. Then maybe as you transfer into those shorter irons, you might not want to see too much of that offset, a little bit more of that slimmer look, and you might then go into more of this pro version in the maybe the 8-9 wedge going forward. So the good thing here is the lofts are exactly the same, so you won't get any gapping issues if you did want to blend the set together. Okay, I'm going to give one more hit and then we'll look at some numbers in a little bit more detail. That's a good strike. Again, really high towering ball flight. Again, yeah, it's gone quite a long way, that one. Definitely struck that one a little bit crisper there. That was 184 on that carry, 127 ball speed. So a good bit of ball speed off that club face there. Okay, so we're going to look at some numbers, a little bit more detail, and see how that pro iron is performing. Okay, so looking at some numbers with the Hot Metal Pro, so we can see ball speed at 125.6. So that last one, shot number 5 there, I hit was my best strike. It did feel like that, so clearly getting that little bit more ball speed. So obviously strike will influence that ball speed number. So, but looking at his average, 125.6, launching at 18 degrees, so nice healthy sort of launch angle. There. Spin number averaging at 5405. So as we'd expect, 30 degree of loft, it's in that stronger bracket. We'll tend to see that sort of lower spin number, and again strike will sort of move that number around a little bit more as I move my strike. So a typical number that doesn't surprise me, it'll be in that sort of mid 5,000s, which is typically around that sort of 30 degree loft there. So carry number at 181 on average, peaking at 184, dropping to 177. So a sort of 7-yard front to back dispersion, which isn't too bad really. Again, my strike's just changing that number as we go. Okay guys, so there we go, there's the new Mizuno JPX919 Hot Metal Pro. I think that'll be a popular iron for a few golfers there, because I tend to see a lot of golfers through fitting sessions, they do need that level of forgiveness. Maybe a lot of guys I've seen will want some extra yards on their shots, but not always liking that big offset and that really big sort of top line and sole. So by any means this isn't slim in terms of its appearance, it's still a very confidence inspiring. We know there's a lot of tech under the bonnet in a way of this iron, but you've just got that nice sort of less offset, fractionally thin on that top edge and sole, which just gives a little bit of a nicer appearance, maybe for the player who doesn't want to see that offset, like I said. So let me know your thoughts. JPX Hot Metal Pro, is that something that might be on your radar to sort of go out and try? Do you feel like you need that level of forgiveness on your missed hits, maybe that bit of more of that powerful, obviously through that loft strengthening there in terms of hitting a few extra yards, but you do like that less offset sort of look. I definitely feel there's a market for that. So I'd love to hear your thoughts as always. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you have done and you haven't subscribed, then please consider doing so. Hit that bell icon so you get notifications of any future videos. You'll be one of the very first ones to watch it on my channel. Also hook up on social media, both Instagram and Twitter, and the handles there are @MNGolfCoach, and hopefully we'll catch up with you all very soon.